who tuned in a minute ago to another stream, I was kind of expecting, you know, that I could schedule a stream on Restream and it would just magically, you know, work. But actually, no, I should have paid attention to the stream key, as they call it, you know. I'm surprised it's not a more fluid experience, but granted, I kind of didn't thoroughly plan it. Oh, my glasses. So let's see if anybody tunes in. Let's see if anybody can even see anything. Right now, I can't even see anything on here, and I'm starting to question existence. Okay, there we go. Now we're live. So, hopefully everybody who wants to watch or wanted to watch gets an opportunity to see the correct stream. I might have to go back to the other one and, you know, try to tell people come through. So, let's see here. We got to go this link, then we got to go to that link. And then we got to click on this link. Then I got to go back to the last stream we did just a minute ago where it freaking... I see what it did. Okay, we got to change the name of it. We're going to just call it A Look at the Solar System 2. Because if we don't do that, YouTube will make life confusing. Well, not YouTube. I mean, it's my fault. But anyway, let's see. Is the chat still up? No, the chat is not still up. So we're just going to have to YOLO it and hope for that people know that this is the stream. But sadly, I'm looking at my top monitor. I'm not rolling my eyes at the people. I'm looking at my top monitor. Perhaps I should share a community post on YouTube. Well, it's not going to be the most exciting stream, but we will potentially do some video games towards the tail end if you know, the temperature allows us to. I mean, you know, it's one of these things where it gets a little toasty, gets a little hot, and, you know, maybe you don't want to stream a video game, but we're going to prioritize arts and crafts. And that is why I'm trying to click on the button right now that notifies the world of the existence of this stream. So I'm just going to make one community post. And I didn't even put like a proper title in there. I'm just going to paste it out there, let people know it exists maybe. Yeah, I probably should. I wonder if anybody can even see the stream. For all I know, it's set up in such a way that nobody can even watch it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there we go. Altered content. No, it doesn't contain altered content. No, it doesn't have AI. Yeah, there's like a little form that actually asks that. Boy, oh boy. I probably should just, let me do this again. Okay. New link. There we go. Hopefully, oh, good. Okay, Pop Culture Mechanic found it. So that means that this stream is indeed findable. Thank you. So anyway, the reason I titled this stream Arts and Crafts, and I do want to say hi to the Pop Culture Mechanic. I still got to update my stream element spot, but at some point we will have an updated stream element spot that will have the ability to make it easy to type in exclamation point commands in order to you know, like basically easily promote any channel that we program into the list. So right now I'm looking through my Gundam markers because, see, I painted this gold up here. This is basically a project that somebody, you know, commissioned me to do, and they're getting an exceptional deal on it. So I'm not doing anything extra to it. I'm not sanding. I mean, I committed to doing it, so of course I'm going to follow through and finish it. But I am definitely not inclined to do all of the normal post-processing I would do. Like, if I was really OCD, I would sand the back of this So the only caveat is before I even paint anything, I think the gold lettering is good. And we're going to use one of these markers to do the black. Because basically I got some gold paint on the side. So I decided to put primer on it so that I could put a coat of paint. And then hopefully before I go to bed, I could find the Mr. Surface. Ah, I found it. Now, I kind of spilled a leftover energy. I may have, I shouldn't say I did. I may have spilled a leftover energy drink on this thing here. I mean, I would never do such a thing. But if I did by any chance do that, I'm going to go ahead and clean this spray can with some 99% isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any potential leftover beverage that may or may not be, you know, making this thing all icky. And then this is going to be like my clear coat at the end to protect it. And I know it works with Gundam markers because I've already tested it. And speaking of which, I have some Gundam parts that may have taken a tumble here, but I think I got all of them. And tomorrow I'm going to clean my desk because I need to locate the remainder of my RGM 122 Javelin so that I can ensure that thing does not disappear. Like, I'm literally looking around my desk right now to see if it's somewhere. But whatever, I'll deal with that later. Okay, let's get organized here. So we need to finish this. I mean, it's basically done, but the issue of concern is, you know, we have some areas here you can see where there's like, oops, you know, a little gold paint back there. So what I'm thinking I'll do is I'm going to use the fine tipped paintbrush to get at those areas, and maybe even a fat paintbrush. So we're not going to actually spray the front, we're going to spray the back. So give me 2 seconds to find a dipping tray or some kind of container. Okay. We'll put some paint in there, we'll dip it in there. So let's take the darkest marker we have. Let's see, do we have a black marker? See, we have gray on this one here. There's really no black. This is like the closest thing to a black marker, and even that's not really black. This set doesn't have a black. This set has, I think, something resembling a black marker. I think it's going to be the Zeonic markers that give us the shade of black that we're looking for. So how's everyone's night doing tonight? You know, I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Sorry about the rattling noise. But yeah, I tell you what, I've been playing a game lately called Beam NG Drive, and I'll tell you, it crossed my mind to play that instead of doing the stream tonight. I was thinking about just playing Beam NG Drive because I love the physics in that game, you know? Like, I mean, you crash a race car in that game and it looks and feels right. Now, typically when these are brand new, you shake them like 40 times. In this case, I'm going to be, you know, more expedient with it. And, you know, I should really, you know what, we got alcohol. So we're going to, if this messes it up, we're going to use alcohol to clean it up. So as you can see, I'm really trying to avoid making it too complicated, but it is a little complicated already. And so we're just going to try to get rid of these areas here without doing the whole thing, hopefully. Actually, yeah, I think this blends in okay. I think we can pull this off. I think we could paint this with the black paint without painting the entire thing. So I do think there's hope here. Now, one idea I have is maybe what we can do is we can put like a little trim along the edges here. Like, so the idea is that maybe we put like a black paint job only around the edges of the letters, and so basically anything we could do to avoid painting the whole thing. That's basically my goal here. Like I'll spray the back of it, yeah, but we're not painting the whole front. Like, there's no way I can do that in a timely manner. I mean, I guess if I have to, I'll do it, but you know, I'm really not trying to. And I think we could wing it. I think we can, you know, wing it. So like maybe like we do this little outline effect here, and then I don't know, just kind of like I said, we're gonna wing it, and then I have to get this pointy bit into this groove here, but you can't see it, but there is a little bit of gold in here. There we go. We just eliminated the gold that's inside there. So basically anywhere where there's like a significant mistake, we want to cover that up. And luckily there's not many areas that need this type of treatment. Okay, I just made myself a little palette here. So yeah, you know, unfortunately this is going to be one of the less than exciting streams that I'll ever do, probably. I mean, I'm sure I'll do other ones that are less exciting than this, but you know. Basically, this is a lesson in 3D printing, and of course, if anyone has questions about 3D printing, you know, I'm not the go-to expert, but I could share my own experiences. You know, it doesn't mean your mileage will vary, but I can tell you why you don't want a 3D printer. I can tell you why you might want a 3D printer, because I think a lot of people, they get this notion that a 3D printer is like all fun and games. Like, it's like hooking up an inkjet printer, and it's definitely not like hooking up an inkjet printer, you know? And I think I have a bad feeling we are potentially going to paint the entire back of this thing, whether we like it or not. But we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, I'm just going to apply corrections and, you know, just clean up the edges and clean up any area where I see like gold where I want to hide it. So like right here, for example, in this edge area, or right here in this middle area here where like, there we go. So there was like a little connection of paint between those two pieces of the Chinese character. Now, the person who printed this said they ran it to a translator and it said it was Japanese, but this is almost certainly Chinese. I think what happened was either the entire thing looked at in a wide shot, maybe it did come up as Japanese for some weird reason, but when I took a close-up shot of one of the characters, it came up as Chinese, and as I understand, it is the Yu Fei or Yu Fei Culture Club. I mean, I'm making up names, but it's something like Yu Fei. I just remember the file name was Yu Fei. Sort of like the guy from Dune, played by Dean Stockwell. Shoot. Okay, that's alright. We can fix that because we're gonna paint another coat on the gold later. Okay, so far so good. So you think I should do a clear coat on the front and the back, or just the back? Well, let's see here. So let's take a look at what we did so far. So all we did was we put a little black paint, and you can sort of see where the paint was applied on the edges to cover up the gold. So we're gonna do a little bit more up here. Basically, you know, we just want to hide any gold paint. So I'm just going here, making a little palette inside this bottle cap. Okay, so we got that part. So far so good. Now, there was a version of this where I would paint the sides of the letters, but I don't have time to do masking on here. Now, you would typically try to print this by doing what we call a filament change. So, let's say there's like 100 layers, and let's just say this area here right behind lettering is layer 80. and layer 20 is where the letters, end from, on the z-axis. Well, in order to get the 3D printer to do a color change, you have to instruct it to pause at a set layer. You gotta say, pause the printer at layer 80, layer 100, whatever layer it is, tell it to pause there. And then once you've done that, you can, get to the printer while it's paused and essentially swap out the filament, because essentially, this is all done in like little layers. That's why you see these line patterns. There's like a nozzle just kind of going, like squeezing out melted plastic one line at a time. And so you'll see like these little striations on the side. And I do want to say hello to Suzanne Eckstein. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. It's always nice to see Suzanne. Suzanne is on a lot of friendly channels. At least I've always seen Suzanne Eckstein on channels of friends. So I'm honored by your presence, and I appreciate you dropping in. So you can see here, there's some layers here. It's like these little fine lines, and those are like basically 0.2 millimeters in thickness. So the printer just does like, it's almost like it's printing a flat square or a flat rectangle. Then after it prints a flat rectangle, it moves the nozzle up by 0.2 millimeters. So essentially, down would be here, up would be this way, or, like that. And it just lays on the layers. It just repeats the same pattern, layer by layer. And as everything adheres together, you end up with a solid block or something resembling a solid block. So to get a color change going, you gotta basically pull out the spool of filament and swap it out. But there's some complications that can occur. If you touch the printer bed and it moves, that's it. You're screwed. Like, you might as well start over. Now, sometimes people make mistakes with their 3D printers, and they'll go back to the machine with like a set of calipers in hand, which is like a precision measurement tool. They'll, like basically, I'm gonna hit something on my desk. Give me a second. And then what they'll do is they'll try to figure out exactly at what point in the print did the 3D printer fail. At what point did the 3D printer malfunction, or whatever it was, like if there's a power outage or a mistake. And then they'll try to like literally tell the printer start the printing at more or less exactly when it stopped printing, which is not a trivial task. It's like some people are maybe better at doing it, maybe they get their measurements right, but it can be very, 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 very frustrating. So what I'm doing is I decided I'm going to put a very, very, very thin coat. I'm using the word very a lot today. Of paint, of marker paint, just on the back here. And it looks fine over here, but I can see where under the light it may look a little weird. But essentially what I want is, I want to make sure that the color black, it matches on both ends. So it's like, this is like not really a precision job at this point. This is more like just getting it so that it matches itself. It matches the other areas. And I'm not 100% about this, to be honest, but it seems to make sense to me. And I should probably hustle so that I can move on to the part that matters more, which is the sides and the back. Like, I mean, sure, the front matters the most, but I might even wipe this off with alcohol, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Because I don't want to repaint the entire back part, I mean, it's going to be sketchy no matter, although it doesn't look terrible. I guess we might as well follow through with it right now. But this is all quite experimental. See, that's like almost like looks like gray paint, but when you spread it around or you mop it around, so as I call it, and then when it dries, I think it does dry to a more, desirable look. So it does, result in a better nicer or desirable finish. And it's almost like I'm cleaning it as much as I'm painting it. And it looks like actually coming along better than I expected. And maybe, just maybe, we can obfuscate these reviews. Now, the person who printed this, because what happened was my printer is still out of commission, so I had someone else print it for me. So, I joked, I go, hey man, the bottom layer is a little bit too wide. Gonna need a reprint within 0.08 microns precision. And that's a joke because, of course, you know they did me a big favor and I don't care how precise it is at that point. You know, this is like those videos. You ever see those videos where someone's making a table out of a tree? And I do want to say hi to the Anime Night 1992. That was the year I was in kindergarten. So there's these videos where they'll find like a tree, or they'll be like, you know, basically like a guy who makes tables, like really fancy tables out of trees. And it's like, I get it. You're selling this stupid table to somebody who wants to spend like 10 grand on a table. And so what'll happen is they'll be working on a table and they'll say, oh, the table is not perfectly flat. So then they'll go and they'll measure the moisture content in the table. And they'll be like, this moisture sensor says there's a little bit of moisture in the table. It's not like a lot, but they'll be like, because there's moisture in the table wood is, this slab of wood is not perfectly flat. Therefore, I can't use it to make a table. And like, I remember telling my friend about this, and I go like, and he goes like, what are you using the table for? Like, why does the table need to be that flat? Like, you gotta put your dinner on this table, you know? Like, you're not like doing scientific stuff. You're not building automotive parts. You're not a millwright. You know, you're just making a table for somebody to put dinner on. So there's like BS where like, oh my god, there's moisture in there. We better get it. Wait a second, did I make a mistake? I may have made a mistake. I may have swapped out markers. I'm not really sure. This part looked really suspiciously gray just now. Like, that looked really suspiciously gray. I think what happened was I laid the paint on thick, and I'm starting to learn that the color, that the black paint I'm using, maybe it is more gray than black, so I'm better off spraying it on the back. But let's take a look here. We're gonna get some alcohol. But luckily, the cool thing about Gundam markers is they can be very easily cleaned using isopropyl alcohol. So I have a bag of you know, cotton swabs. I just need to get them real quick. So anyway, oh, whoops. So it's going to do a little bit of gentle removal here now, because I am backpedaling a little bit on my idea. Just a little bit, or at least, you know, just getting rid of that sucks. Well, luckily, isopropyl alcohol evaporates very quickly. And, you know, in the words of Tim Allen, I am here to show you what not to do. So, what I just taught you is don't spill things on your drawing tablet. Although it doesn't really matter, because once again, I say again. Okay, good. This is coming clean. And I'm hearing a very interesting bird outside. Okay, good. So, this is good. Okay, good. I'm able to get, like, the type of look I'm actually looking for, as opposed to the look that I accidentally got. So that's good. We're making progress there. And of course, I suspect that tomorrow night Pop Culture Mechanic will be having another edition of Trades Talk Tuesday. In fact, yeah, I think I already saw the thumbnail image for the next stream if I remember my brain working correctly. I may not remember my brain working correctly, but if I do, I believe that the thumbnail already exists. So I'll admit, this might end up looking a little bit questionable, but I'm kind of glad that I'm backpedaling on the black paint a little bit because, or the gray paint, because it's looking like it's not going to work out the way I'd like it, you know, but we're going to keep the edge detail. I really should just like take an extra few days on this, or extra day or two, let it dry and then kind of regroup, but I kind of want to get this out of my hands and into my into the person who's contracted me to do it, because it's like one of these things like where you got, you know, someone at work and they're like, oh, hey, can you 3D print something for me? It's like, really, the answer should just be no, but you're like, okay, sure. And then it's like, they send you a low resolution scan, and I was like, not even looking at it for weeks. I was like, I'm dreading this. I'm like, I know this is, and it wasn't as bad as it could be, but honestly, I should like be given line item, you know, prices. I should be saying, hey, look, this is the cost of designing. This is the cost of doing the actual work, because really the work of designing it is the work, you know. Printing it is also its own level of work, but when the print is working right, you could argue that part is relatively straightforward. It's just, you know, $20 for materials is great, but doing, yeah, exactly, Adega, no, right. Well, like I said, I'm just gonna be upfront about pricing. I'm gonna be like, you know, be like, look, I'm monitoring the price I gave now, but next time the price is going up. And interestingly, yeah, so that's the thing. So that's a good idea. Pop Culture Mechanic, require minimum resolution. I got around that a couple of ways. So I got around that by using this. This is called upscale. So let me find a garbage resolution picture, and I'll show you what upscale can do to it. So I'm gonna just find, like, this is perfect. You're gonna love this. All right, see that crappy musical note? I don't know what's gonna happen, but I believe that's an emoji from VGM Oscillo. Yeah, that's the name of the channel. VGM, Video Game Music. That's what it means. Oscillo is short for oscilloscope. So we could tell upscale that this is vector art. And, you know what? I'll resize the window so that it fits in an area where you guys can see the entirety of it. So this is like, just like for demonstration purposes, but let's see what happens. Like, I picked the crappiest picture just to see. So, okay, maybe not the best example, but I'll find the image that I actually used. So I do have the picture from the t-shirt, because it was the U-Fei or UE-Fei Culture Club or something like that. So if I had to guess, yep, there it is. So of course I originally opened this up in Photoshop first, and then I you know, upscaled it afterwards. Also, later on, I realized that these red lines here were actually creating these one line of thick, you know, artifacts on a 3D printing software. So I eliminated them. So essentially, I cleaned it up in Photoshop. Obviously, I removed the T-shirt that this has clearly been scanned from. And actually, once I got rid of the red lines and the, you know, the inside gaps and made it transparent all around, I simply just dropped the contrast to 0, or adjusted the contrast so that there would only be black and white. And you can get upscale by literally typing the word upscale into Google. However, I do not want to encourage people to get viruses, so bear with me a day. I'm going to get you a link. It's pretty cool, this program. It's on a GitHub repo. So if we go like on Google, you'll see on my top monitor, I got upscale free AI image upscaler. And looks like they've updated the website since I last visited, but essentially you have a download link up here. And only thing, I think at one point there was an update that broke it, and then I had to go into the settings and basically like tell it to spit out JPEGs instead of WebP images. So you'll see like we have things like select the original image. What type of art is it? And you can try, sometimes I've done experiments where I tried all of these, like especially if it's like a low resolution scan from a book cover. I would try to see which one was better, because there are certain like nuances you'll see, certain quirks where in certain operating modes you'll see that it has a tendency to lean in one direction or another in terms of how it characterizes the image. So if we go into settings here, you'll see that it's just like basically this is the main UI, but there's a settings button up here that alternates into this tab. And if you have trouble opening WebP images, or if you simply have trouble dealing with WebP images, then you can tell it to do PNG or JPEG. And I would recommend doing a PNG unless you need an image that you can immediately deliver to a website, I guess. But like the PNG will give you a larger file, but it also won't be compressed. And then when you're done with working on it, you can always, then, especially if you're sending the image off to somebody professional or somebody who you trust to be your graphic designer, send them the PNG or the WebP. Although I'm not going to pretend to know all of the things about WebP. I can elucidate a little bit on it, but I don't want to pretend to know more than I do. So I would say, for those interested, yeah, there's definitely like a Wikipedia article. There's a log over here. If it malfunctions, you can copy and paste the logs and send it to the people making the software, I guess. Now, I originally used this software for the Japanese book covers for the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons, and I may or may not have those pictures if I could just find... Okay, so that's cool. So this was cool, actually. So there was this picture of... on a YouTube video. It was like on a Sailor Moon playlist or some shit. And this picture was like really low resolution. Let me just make sure I can double click on it. Can I zoom in on it? I can, but how do I get 100% zoom on here? Okay, give me 1 second. So I just want to make sure I don't... Okay, we're going to click 1:1. There we go. So this image was originally like much lower resolution. Like the image was like the size of a square fitting in the middle of my screen. And after upscaling it, it did a pretty good job, in my opinion, with what little quality it had on hand. Essentially, the main thing it did was it allows me to have a larger version of the original image that I can use in other, places. The lettering it did a very good job on. So, like, the curves here would have otherwise been very pixelated, very blocky if, I didn't run it through this upscaling thing. Whereas, like, it would sometimes get the shading wrong on this dress over here. So you can see, like, the pleated skirt like kind of has these fuzzy lines here, so you'll get mixed results when doing stuff like that. But all in all, I don't think it was bad. I really think like that was a pretty good one. And I also did, let's see, a different one using a different setting. So let's see what the parameters here did. And of course now it's opening in a different program. There we go. So this one here did the pleated dress even better. You see, it's not as fuzzy over here. So like this is where it's at right here, yeah, I could imagine Adega Outlaw says, I've been dying for a program like this for my vids. And let me see something here. Do I have you programmed in here? I don't have Adega programmed in here. Oh my god. No, I'm kidding. Jokes aside. Oh wait, I do have you. Yeah. All right, good. I had foresight. All right. But yeah, that's a Adega Outlaw channel right there, and I'm so excited over the simplest thing that the Stream Elements bot was programmed correctly and worked. But anyway, you get the idea, guys. Ladies and guys and ladies. You get the idea. So depending on what type of art you're feeding it, it'll handle it a little differently. And this is funny. I gotta send a message to Snowdub. So see this here says Movie Maker and Photo Gallery. Right after I installed Movie Maker and Gallery from like the old version of Windows, it tried to override my default image application. So I have to tell the thing like, please, just open the pictures in the program I've always been using. But I gotta give Snowdub a warning. Like, hey buddy, I better make a tutorial video, an instructional, so that when he installs Windows Movie Maker, he doesn't mess up his file association. So at least he knows what's going on when this pop-up comes up on his screen, And I do want to say hi to the Disney sheepherder who says, can't stay at work. Well, of course you can't stay at work. You got to stay home and relax, buddy. I know that's what I was saying. He's saying, can't stay, comma, I'm at work. But I love, playing with the words. But no, thank you very much. Well, you're always welcome at some point when you are available. Just holler at me or I'll holler at you and we'll, check availability. I'd like to have the turtle cam up and running before I get you on, just so that I can say I did the thing that I said I would do. Because right now we just don't have a live feed of the turtle, but we want to have something live. We want to have something live with night vision. And I do want to say hi to, we said hi to Disney Sheepherder and to Lady Mist. Thanks for dropping in, both of you guys. All of you guys. So anyway, this is the Katamari Damacy, picture. And clearly it's a low resolution. So let me just make sure I can zoom in on it. So if I zoom in on it, see, like, damn it. Pardon my language, guys. There we go. I hit the wrong thing. So you get the idea. So, see, we got it blocky, right? So can we do better than that? Can we get a better, more detailed armpit? Let's see. I keep switching my webcam because I don't want to have an accident where I find something bad on the computer and then I show it on screen like that guy. The communist guy who was like, oh, see, look right there. Like, see how much cleaner that is already? So I think it excels at dealing with illustrations. Obviously, it can only do so much with what little data is in there. So it's going to mess up here and there. But, all things considered, with what our eyes are capable of or with what we're looking at when we scale it down, this is, I think very, very practical. And for what Adega does in his videos, he'll often be reading passages from his work, from his books, from short stories or, compilations that go into books. I believe chapters from his books. And so sometimes I can imagine he does have a picture that would be quite nice, but is just low resolution. So exactly, his videos, as he says, my vids are basically a slideshow. So this is ideal. And yeah, I definitely... that makes sense to me too. And it should make sense to the rest of you guys. No, I'm kidding. But jokes aside, that's a pretty logical use. So what I'm looking for right now is, however, and I doubt I'm going to find it because usually when you're looking for something, you don't find it. But I was hoping, oh, is this it? Might have found it. Oh, all right, good. Okay, well, I didn't find the original, but you know what? We're going to work with these right here. So let's see here. So this one's a little bit of a weird one because it's a huge image, but these are the Japanese book covers for the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. And, whoops, sorry, I hit the horizontal. And you can see as we zoom in, it gets more and more pixelated. There's just so much cool stuff going on here, You got the guy with the priest with the resurrection parasite on him. You got a flying carpet that uses electromagnetic levitation. You got a raft. You got a guy whose stump is missing because someone put nano wire, how do we phrase it? Basically like piano line, but 1 nanometer thick. So imagine you're going down a river on a barge and a piece of fine piano line just slices your arm off. That's kind of like the thing that would happen there, And, my point is these are fantastic, but short of buying the Japanese version of the book, which I'm having trouble finding without going to Japanese Amazon and Japanese eBay, and even then I have a hard time finding it. Like this cover alone, I really like. I like seeing the dropship land or take off. I like seeing the soldier. I like seeing Bron Lamia with her head hooked up to a computer or something. Look, you got John Keats, and actually, this is a great example here. So here's John Keats right over here. Now, clearly, there's not enough data here for it to really do anything useful, right? But how far can it go? Let's see if we can figure that out right now. They're gonna really quickly open up the Adobe Photoshop. And we're gonna do that so that we can take out an image that we can utilize. And then we'll get back to cleaning up that painting, that boring 3D print. So let's see here. Like we had this picture. And we have Tian Shen, which is actually this background. And as you can see, it's a WebP image. So my version of Photoshop cannot open up this picture right now. I'd have to convert it to another format to deal with it. So we're going to stick with this for now. And we're going to pick out, which image should we upscale? The little one down here. Let's start with the little one here. Let's just do this one because it's small. Okay, so it's just going to be 1 second. I'm just going to open up the save dialog. I'm really paranoid. I want to make sure I don't accidentally save something into a folder that has something weird in it, because I keep making fun of that communist guy who did the same thing. But then my luck, I'll open up something I wish I didn't open up on stream. So that's why I'm being super duper cautious. So here's our picture right here. So we're going to drag and drop that picture here. And we're going to tell it to upscale it. So I'm going to say, let's do it as a photo because it's not really technically digital art. So right here, we can zoom in, but you can see how we got the little sliding scale. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. All right, let's go to 200%. It's a very weird. So right there, see how like you got the time tombs, which is like the staircase to the right, and there's clearly a person in there, but there's just not enough data for it to draw a person. But then on the other hand, the soldier here, I mean, there's not a lot of detail here either, but you know, it looks more or less appropriate. Or the blurry lady in the background, you can definitely see more of, you know, everything over there. Or the ship, which this is one thing I hate about this program is when you do the zoom in. There we go. Okay, we're doing all right here. So the drop ship, it looks grainy, but it looks better, you know, on the right. And then John Keats, which of course John Keats is over here. That's the original, and this is the new one. You can just see how his face looks like mush. And I'm sorry I can't zoom in more on it without opening the saved image, which we could do. I think we can open up the saved image. So we just make sure we set the output folder to the same folder that okay, so we're gonna output the image and upscale it again. And where did I put it? Right over here. So now when we double click on this image, this is the upscaled image I was telling you guys about. So if we look at it, like, you know, there's things where like, okay, so like, for example, like these letters, some of the things get blended. Some of the serifs get blended in very bizarre ways, you know? Or John Keats' face. Now, I can actually double, oh crap, I'm sorry. I wasn't sharing my screen. So let's zoom out again. So once again, okay, so we're at 100% zoom now. So this is like already 4 times bigger than it would have been. And, you know, you just see like weird things about the way it handles this, I guess, relief, I guess you would call it, you know? And you can see how John Keats' face isn't really much. Now, if I want to get creative, what I might do is find a picture of John Keats and just paste, a painting of John Keats and paste his face on top of this. So what you might do is use AI upscaling to get you like 3/4 of the way there, and then do some of the fine touch-up work. And you don't necessarily have to draw it by hand. You might just be blending other existing images into the now upscaled image. Where upscaling, like this program's version of AI upscaling excels, I think, is on these simpler shapes here. You know, I mean, like really hard for it to mess it up. But of course, once again, vague detail. I'm sure the original didn't look like this, but if the details are too vague, it's going to do a lot of guessing. Or here's actually a great example here. So these Japanese letters up here, they look like crap originally. So if we go back to the original, so you'll notice that like there's not really a solid color. The pixels have sort of like different imperfections in them. You got these dark lines which represent like almost like a rustic look basically. Or you got this curve here. But you know, when it sees shades of gray in these pixels in between, the model that this was trained upon, AI isn't really intelligence per se, you know, but it is essentially brute forcing raw data. So the model was trained on a crap ton of examples. And so it's using those examples. It's going to fumble up some of these characters here, no doubt. At least that's my theory. But if you look here now in the new one, once again, like I'm at a little more than 100% zoom, but you can see how like it corrected this to being a solid yellow, mostly a solid yellow. It took those, you know, pixelated like areas of missing stuff and kind of made it look faithfully to what the book cover probably looked like. It got these curves right with the katakana or whatever the word is for Japanese letters. Kai, what is it called? Well, I don't know. You know, like it got the word what katakana and the other one. I don't know why I can't remember the name of Japanese letters right now. But I'd imagine like it fumbled over here, you know. But all in all, I can do more things. Katakana. Thank you, Pop Culture Mechanic. Pop Culture Mechanic is a proper weeber. Here, and he's got hiragana or hiragana. So, yeah, he's a proper otaku. So, Pop Culture Mechanic would know. Now, where upscale gets challenged is like with this image here. So, this image is already a very high resolution, and because it's clearly a bunch of separate book covers stitched together. So, it's not that big. It's just a little bit more than 1080p. It's more than 1920 wide, and it's a little bit more than 1080 tall. But apparently when you feed this into upscale, I think it handles the smaller image fine. I think it has trouble when you try to tell it to double it. So you can see there's a checkbox here that says double upscale. So I think it's going to handle this image fine. It's going to take a little bit of time. You know, the bigger the image, the more computationally intensive this is. Oh, cool. I found my Gundam sanding tools. There we go. Alrighty. And I'm just looking for one more thing. I'm cleaning my desk tomorrow. Let's see here. Good. This will have to be a sufficient container, I think. I just need something to put alcohol into. But you see, like, it's the computer's chewing on it a lot. Hey, what's up, Wade? I hope you're having a wonderful night. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. I would love for you to hop on, except that I made a mistake. I did not make this an open stream tonight. But no, jokes aside, like literally I was like lamenting before the stream started. I'm like, I need to set up a Discord server, because here's the thing. So when I stream directly from OBS, hey, that's weird. I can't see my webcam right now. Oops. Excuse. Give me 1 second here. There we go. So when I'm streaming from OBS, I get 1080p at 60 frames a second. When I stream through the web browser where I can have people join me, it does it at 720p. So the only way I think I can keep 1080p is by like essentially having people hop on via Discord, which I don't have set up at all. But I would like to set that up, because like I want to have impromptu guests, and essentially at the beginning of a stream, I have to decide, do I want to sacrifice resolution, or do I want to, you know, guarantee resolution, but sacrifice the ability to have people hop on. And Wade's a cool dude. I know Wade would not keep me on till 3 a.m. So that's why I'd be happy to have him on anytime that it was set up to have people on. So getting back on topic here, I hope I elucidated a little bit about upscale. What I'm not going to do is, or actually maybe we can do it just for fun. We're going to do it for fun. We're going to do double upscale and see if it gives us an error message. So number one, it's going to take a long it's going to take a long time. It's like the song from Enterprise. It's been a long time. I've got faith of the heart. See? I can sing the Enterprise song. So anyway, that's actually going pretty well. I don't know why. Maybe it's when I had my old CPU, it took longer. I don't know. So the bad news is I don't know if I'm going to be able to clean off all that gray paint I put on. I'm investigating it right now because I'd like to clean off some of that gray paint. And I don't know if we're going to have time to drive cars off cliffs, but if you guys come back during the week, I will. And you know what, Wade? Maybe that's the time for me to figure out how to set up this thing correctly so that I can have guests on and full 1080p video. Because that's what I want. I want 1080p, 60 frames per second, dogs and cats living together. Okay, maybe not dogs and cats living together. And you guys should check out Wade's channel, of course. I would urge you to do that because he's been having interviews lately. And just like me, he's only going to get better at this. So you should get in at the ground floor while he's still a noob. Because if you get in his good graces now, like I'm doing, then when he gets big, he'll be cool. But also, jokes aside, you know, I'm not just trying to grift his merch because I don't make money off his merch, but his merch is pretty cool. Like, just like the logo is pretty cool, right? It's a cool logo. And even if it doesn't mean anything to you now, I got a fingerprint on the paint. Even if it doesn't mean anything to you now, down the road, maybe it will mean something to you. And I mean, just in general, like even if the logo means nothing to you now, I think his logo is really straightforward. It's like the kind of thing that you can wear in public. And even if people don't know what it is, it's like, it just looks like a cool logo. So I don't know where that logo came from. I mean, I'm going to guess that he came up with it, or has a really good friend who came up with it, but either which way, it's a good logo. So yeah, I did some cleanup work because I had some paint spill on the side of these here, and it's a little regret of mine that I did that, but you can even see some of the paint spill down here. And I think you gotta remember, when you go to Chinatown, you buy something cheap, sometimes they do spill paint on the side, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little gold paint touch up right now before we do anything else. So I have this paintbrush here that I was using for gold paint. We're gonna find a place to make a palette. We're gonna make a palette where we can dip our paintbrush. What's up, Snow? See, that's another person I would love to have on in addition to Wade. Snow Dub, not Snow Dubs, or there might be multiple Snow Dubs in an alternate universe. Anyway, we'll be driving cars off cliffs a little bit later this week. Cool. So actually, he does have an he does Wade actually. So Wade's answer is, I'm only 36. I'm only 37. From 100. Oh, from 100. And I thought his age. I was like, only 36. I wish I was younger. No, I'm kidding. So, I don't really need to do touch up here, but you know, you can see like some of the paint got messed up here, so we could do a little gentle touch up here. You can see I hit some black marker here before, so we could fix that up. Now, I figured that the person I make this for is either going to be happy with it, they're going to say great job, or they're going to be disappointed. But like I say, there were a lot of challenges, and I learned set a higher price. So this is the problem I'm having. See this area here, the gold is on the inside. Now this is actually how it would have been if I did a filament print. So that's 36 from 100 on the live channel. So we're just going to give this a very gentle touch up. We don't want to get the paint on the backing, you know? That's the scary thing here, is that we want to get the paint on the bottom, but we don't want to get it on the backing. So we're going to try to do the inner border here very easily, because it's easier for me to add more paint than it is to clean it off at this point. There you go. So this is what happens when the image is too big. It'll take a long time to process, and it'll give you this error message. Now, it's possible, going into settings and telling it to create a JPEG, it might behave a little better. But that particular image, that's why when I wanted to enlarge just one section of that image, that is why I cut out a quadrant or a section. That's why, you know, I went and I cut out this piece over here. Now, it looks like it was successful in generating the ultra high res image. Oh, no, it was not. Oh, wait, there we go. So let's try it out. Let's do one-to-one zoom. Okay, so actually, yeah, this is double upscaling right here. So, you know, you can just see like, you know, the way it does this. You know, just certain things you're going to notice about the way it upscales. But all things considered, things that were pixelated are clean and curved. I'm trying to see if I can find like a super obvious imperfection, you know, like just in general, like the way it does things over here. You know, it's almost like you're getting these weird pastels. That's the planet Mari Infinitus. It's a ocean world with a couple of really large moons. No doubt, Wade. Do what you gotta do, brother. See, like, once again, we talk about the letters getting messed up. You know, you get the idea. But, like, all in all, it's like I could do more with this image than if I didn't have this image, you know? If I didn't have the image upscaled. Like, I wanted to make this into a poster. I'd like it to look better than this. That's why I'd rather get the book, scan the book myself, and I wouldn't even need the AI upscale it at that point. But if, let's say, you're scanning it off of a book cover, one of the challenges you would get is that as you get to really high resolutions, you start seeing that Pantone pattern, as they call it, right? And so obviously we don't want to enlarge the Pantone pattern, right? So that would be an area where using the upscaler would probably be, the AI upscaler might come in handy. And you know, in the past, before AI upscalers existed, I would just use Photoshop 7, the old Photoshop. So in Photoshop 7, there's a tool called the Free Transform tool. And when you activate it and you resize an image, it'll look all ugly and pixelated. But the minute you click Apply Changes, it'll do something to, like, clean it up. So, yeah, the Free Transform tool in Photoshop is actually not a bad option for, you know, less aggressive upscaling endeavors. But yeah, I think I need to set up a Discord server. 2 reasons. One, I want to have a, like, sort of like, not a VTuber, but it's like what they call a PNG VTuber. If you ever saw Magitech Mags's, you know, VTuber persona, it's sort of like one of those. And it's so that if I want to play, let's say I want to play a game, stream a game from bed, but I don't want to put on my clothes or something, or if it's a hot summer's day, I would do it like that, you know? And then there would be a cartoon Ron on the screen, or maybe a turtle on the screen that would, you know, move around as I speak. But yeah, a filament change would have been nice, but like I said, if my printer's not working, I'm having someone else do it, I'm not going to be like, hey, do a filament change. You know, I don't even think my friend had gold filament. But, you know, that's why we're painting it, and there's risks. You know, like, I've done different paint jobs. I think I did a stencil once. I think I literally 3D printed a stencil to go with it. Like, I basically told the printer or the software, give me an inverted version of the Chinese letters, and then I used that as, like, the basis of a stencil. Now, that's one good thing about doing cheap 3D prints for other people. It's that you can experiment a little bit. You know, you can say, okay, look, I'm taking my discretion since I'm giving the guy a good deal. And you can, like, you know, do experiments. You can say, okay, we're going to try a new technique here. And, like, so with 3D printers, the way it works is they have these things called stepper motors. And stepper motors don't turn in a linear fashion. I mean, they do, but a stepper motor, each motion, like if a stepper motor wants to rotate 360 degrees, it moves a number of small steps. So each step is, let's say, a degree on the compass. It's going to be less than that, but let's just say it's a degree on the compass. So if it wants to move 90 degrees, it's got to move 90 steps. So the motor will literally go and it could go real slow, or it could do it very quickly. And when it does it quickly, it'll look like the motor is just spinning continuously, but in reality, it's a series of pulses being sent to the motor, basically, like the motherboard and the printer saying, here's 90 pulses. And it does it just rapidly, so it looks like it's spinning fluidically. But because of the nature of stepper motors and the way they work, the problem is when the 3D printer is powered on, not really the problem, but the way they work is when the printer's on, you can't rotate a stepper motor. You try to force rotate the motor, it won't move. It'll be like locked. And that's a good thing because it means you can't move the printer bed around while, you know, in a way that the nozzle can't predict. Because once you shake the printer bed, once you move any of the motors around by hand, when the printer is on pause, the printer has no idea you moved it. It has no way of knowing you moved it. And there are technologies that would enable that, but they would cause the printer to cost an extra $1,000. So that's why we don't have that technology. Those are technologies that would be more commonly used on telescope equipment, astronomical mounts, as opposed to 3D and 2D printers. And I do want to say hi to Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. We might have a, don't know for certain, we might have a Stream Elements bot command for Tommy. Actually, I don't think we do, because I feel like that would be too simple, like !Tommy. We might have one, I'm not really sure. We had one, I was happy that we had one for Adega today. That was a surprise. We also have one for Pop Culture Mechanics. If you know, anyone types !Pop, I'm pretty sure that'll give a link to Pop Culture Mechanic. So next week we should do something fun. I don't know what yet, but we should do something fun next week. Oh, this Saturday is, you know, May the 4th. Now I know we don't all celebrate May the 4th, right? Some of us believe that we should observe the real Star Wars Day, but I think it's fun to get into the fanfare. And maybe what we would do is celebrate both. Maybe make the entire month in the Star Wars month. You know, there's nothing that stops us from making the entire month into a Star Wars month. You know, we're not under obligations to, like, you know, stop on May 4th and not do anything until the real day. And so I kind of like that you have May the 4th at the beginning of the month, and then you have like a later day in the month where you can do more festivities, right? You can engage in more festivities, but in between you can also engage in festivities, right? So that's what I would implore you guys to do. And you know, like, I remember like some weeks ago George Lucas said he's not going to save Star Wars, and I was like, okay, wasn't expecting to save Star Wars. He sold it, and look, I don't blame George Lucas. Like, if I was George Lucas, I would have fucking sold Star Wars, okay? Like, because look, when you run a multi-decade canon, or when you know, a guy who created it, the fans are brutal. I remember reading an article or something, and it was kind of true. Like, the fans are a pain in the ass. They always bitch and moan at you. They're like, oh my God, you changed this. And it's like, you know, it's like they might have a point, but it's also like, you know, like, as the creator, if anyone has a right to retcon things, it would be the creator of the franchise, you know, or whatever the case is. I don't even know if George Lucas ever retconned anything, but, you know, he made the prequels, and he did the special edition, and he probably thought he was doing a good thing, or he's probably trying to realize his masterpiece in a new light. Also, in fairness, from George Lucas's perspective, in the year 2000, he made Star Wars in the 70s, and I can imagine it gets boring, you know, showing the same movie over and over again. So at some point you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to give you guys a different take. And even like a lot of people, you know, who know about the special edition might not be aware that even the trilogy that was released in the 1995, or what I think it was around 1995, even that VHS trilogy, that one was touched up. So for example, I have a copy of Empire Strikes Back. Oh yeah, I ordered a new VCR today, so that should be coming. Maybe next week we'll do some VHS. I finally ordered a new VCR, you know. I ordered a decent, I think I ordered a Sony VCR or a Panasonic. I don't remember which, but I ordered a quality, was it JVC? It was a quality VCR, whichever one it was. Like, it was like a little bit on the older side, which actually sometimes is better. And it was cheap enough that if it turns out to be a bust, I'm not losing a lot. So if I have to buy another VCR, it's not a big deal. Because what I don't want to do is spend like $300 on a VCR that breaks down early and I can't fix, you know? At least if I spend $40 on a VCR and it breaks, it's like, okay, well, I could try to fix it, and if I break it, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, like you know, if you take Empire Strikes Back, that was recorded when it was playing on TV as a movie, like on Channel 11, New York, or whatever. You'll have a scene during the Battle of Hoth where the snowspeeder is flying between the legs of the AT-AT walkers. And it is during this scene where you see through the dashboard, you're looking at the dashboard or the cockpit, the instrument panel on the snowspeeder, the Rebel snowspeeder, and you can see it transparent. You can literally see the legs of the walker through the dashboard, through the instrument panel. And I remember when they were talking about the special edition during one of these TV specials, they were like, this is one of the things that we fixed. So then I go, okay, if this is one of the things you fixed, then surely I have this in my trilogy edition before the special edition. And it wasn't there. I play it back, it wasn't there. So then I go onto the shelf and I find a like bootleg copy of Star Wars, either recorded off of a rental or a TV movie. I'm not sure which one. But it was a copy of a rental or a TV movie. Probably a rental. And so I play it back, and the cockpit is transparent there. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can empathize with George Lucas wanting to, you know, correct some of that, you know? But, you know, doing other stuff like putting, like, you know, brontosauruses into the show. And if you go on YouTube and you type in, I think, Star Wars Making Magic, you see these video conferences from the mid-90s where George Lucas and his team are having a video conference on probably SGI visual workstations, which I have one right over there. And, you know, like basically the CGI or CG guys are like, oh yeah, hey look, I designed a Brontosaurus. We're going to call it a Bronto. And he's like, and George Lucas is like, oh yeah, I think it's a great idea. You know, we should put that in our Mos Eisley. And, you know, like, you know how George Lucas talks like, you know, guys, I don't know. I can't really do a George Lucas, but I'm sure you can imagine George Lucas's voice. I mean, when I grow my hair out, maybe I'll put on a flannel shirt again and pretend to be George Lucas. Getting back to the chat here, and I do want to say hi to QEPX, which stands for Quantum Electronic Programmatic X-Men. Me and my broken back. Well, you got to put screws in there, man. Like, don't go to the doctors. Just do it yourself. Get a power drill and just go. Nah, jokes aside, I hope your back feels better, Tommy. It was long overdue. She needed this done over 30 years ago. Oh, okay, got you. I just misread parts of the chat, I think. So, I may... Got it, the missus. Well, I do hope the missus, you know, does well, recovers from this operation. And, you know, if you need anything, holler at me. I mean, anything within reason. Obviously, if you need a Corvette, I'm not going to be able to accommodate you. But if you need me to sing a song, despite my bad singing skill, let's say you like, for some reason, your wife is like, I want to hear DJ Ronnie G sing Piano Man. I don't know why, but if she wants that, I'll do it for her if it makes her happy. So, you know, things like that. Or if you want me to do a video game stream where I drive cars off of cliffs. Although I don't think someone would want to watch that if they just got over back surgery. I feel like watching a car jump off a cliff is probably not the thing to watch. But yo, that game BeamNG Drive is off the hook. I think we're going to have to play some BeamNG Drive before the stream is over. I'll have to make it quick, but I'll do it for you guys if you want, you know, because like that game is fire. So we're almost done painting this here. I'm just putting the final touch. I'm trying to fill in a little gap here. As you can see now, it's not perfect, but I'm just hoping that I can obfuscate imperfections. My real thing is I'm just more concerned about overshooting the mark, you know? I don't really care about missing the mark. I just don't want to overshoot the mark. I really don't want to, like, I don't want to mess up the back. Let's see here. I got some Q-tips here. They're not really Q-tips. They're more like miniature Q-tips. I have a new neighbor, Gopher Tortoise, living in the empty lot behind my house now. I threw him some of the guinea pig romaine scraps. Oh my god. So cool. He has a Gopher Tortoise living out back right now. Wow. Yeah, Tommy is actually a competent turtle keeper. He's not just a guinea pig collector. collective, overkeep, watcher. He's also a a tortoise watcher. Not really a term, is it? You know what I mean. Okay, that was, I don't know what just got on my hand. That did not feel right. Anyway. So, I don't think I'm going to clean up the stuff here, but I'm going to try to give it a quick alcohol rinse. You know what I mean? I'm just going to try to hit this area here. But this is like the kind of area where I wish I had like black paint right now, like just plain black paint that I could just kind of like hit this area up with. I think we should like stop while we're way ahead. I think I should stop while I'm way ahead, before I mess this up, right? What do you guys think? Stop while I'm way ahead? I mean, we could put a little more touch up on the top, but before we do, we're now going to switch gears to doing the airbrush. So, what this is going to require is, we're going to put basically the black Xeon marker on the back. Now, to do this, we got to shake the paint. And we're going to use this Best Buy bag because it's safe to paint on, right? We don't want to paint on anything important to me. So, essentially we have the marker. We got the airbrush gun, which I gotta say, this thing has been really good on Gundam markers. On Gundam, on mobile suits, I mean. Oh shoot, I almost painted the wrong side. Holy crap, that would have sucked. The worst paint marker I bought was those damn Mololo Molotov liquid chrome markers. They are just trash. Interesting. Thanks for the heads up on that. I think I was looking into buying those recently, but I didn't really need them. It just, they looked interesting. So I was like, oh, maybe I should get those. Now, they do make Gundam metallic markers out of chrome color that work really well, in my opinion. Oh, excuse the noisiness there. Oops. Thanks, Tommy. Good night, Pop Culture Mechanic. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing your show tomorrow. Real quick, for those watching, the back is a little blotchy, but it's the back, so who cares? But the side has primer on it. If I can't find black paint, should I just paint the side gold? What do you think? Like paint the top and the side gold? Any thoughts on that? Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. I'm gonna leave this. I can't really leave it on an angle, but I'll try. I'm gonna leave it on an angle like that, so you guys can decide while I try to see if I can find black paint. Gold. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go over it because Tommy has an eye for art. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it, Tommy, because I think that's the easiest thing. I can get this done in no time if I do gold. See, like now I know art's supposed to be done slowly, but look how quick this can be done if I do it like this right now. Remember, I'm not getting paid enough to do a thorough job. I mean, I'm doing a pretty thorough job for what I'm getting paid. Be gold, pony boy. Pony boy. Yo, some person. Do I know you? Are you the dude? Are you Action Person by any chance? I've been looking for Action Man. I'm wondering what the F Action Man is. I hope he's alive. I'll be honest. I think I know you, some person, but I'm not 100%. But if you are who I think you are, that would be wonderful. If you're not who I think you are, well, you're still welcome here, of course. But if you are who I think you are, that would be really cool and a relief, because I've been trying to hunt, not really hunt, I haven't really been trying to hunt down a friend, because they changed their name faster than the Starship Voyager rotates shield frequencies when engaged in battle with the Borg. Nope, just rifling. I just like rifling. Okay, fair enough. I do that too. I show up in people's chats and I just kind of crack jokes. Like, I try to be respectful, but I also like to just crack random jokes, you know, like just for fun, have fun, you know, just plays on words, things like that, you know. You could probably relate. Now, we have this thing, I think it's called elephant's foot. That's what I call it. Where the bottom layer of a 3D print is bigger than the rest. And I joked with the person who helped me print this, because like I said, my printer still needs some minor adjustments before I can finish it. Alright, well, now I'll take it. If some person is cool, good enough for me. If Snowed Up says so. Well, I think I'm already pretty cool with some person. Many persons, for that matter. But yeah, anyway, so the bottom layer comes out wider than the rest of the layers. And it's because of a couple of reasons. Sometimes the nozzle is too close to the bed. That's usually the most common excuse. But there's other reasons why it can happen too. And so at one point what I did was I adjusted the Z offset on the 3D printer and the elephant foot didn't go away. So then I made some other adjustments. I told the printer use a 98% flow rate. So basically, you know, reduce the flow rate. Basically, while I was printing the bottom layer, I told the printer to go at a slower flow rate than it normally would. And then I told it to print, I think, slower or faster. I forgot which one. Oh, and then I also lowered the temperature. So when it's printing the initial layer, I definitely lowered the temperature by like at least 5 degrees. And I also lowered the printer bed, because the printer bed is heated, or at least it should be heated, because that's what allows adhesion. It lets because you want your print to stick to the bed so that it doesn't fly around by accident in the middle of printing. That's no good. You gotta redo it, you know? So I lowered the temperature of the printer bed by 2 degrees. I lowered the nozzle temperature by at least 5 degrees. And the result was the elephant foot went away. It's really cool. But then I did a new setup with the printer because I wanted to get the benefit of double to quadruple printing speed using something called Clipper. And Clipper firmware, it's not just printing faster, and you're not sacrificing quality to get faster prints, but one of the things it does is it lets you calibrate the printer's calibrate against acoustic resonance. So what you do is you put a sensor onto the printer, onto like any of the moving parts. So you put the sensor on the x-axis, let's say, the part that goes left to right. And the printer will basically jerk the motor left and right really quickly. You'll hear like as it's going side to side. And then the sensor will detect the vibration and measure it, how much vibration goes through the metal or through the frame or through the, the mounting bracket. And as it's shaking side to side, it'll suddenly sound like it's almost going, and it'll make a humming sound, and the humming sound will get like lower and lower pitched or higher and higher pitched. And essentially, you can't even see the thing moving anymore, but it's moving it very minutely from side to side. And what it's doing is it wants to see, like, based on my unique setup, what parts vibrate in what ways. And then based on that information, it can actually figure out, like, how to compensate. Because while the 3D printers might have like a shitty 8-bit motherboard on the inside, and they have two approaches to firmware, which is the software that runs on that little motherboard that controls the printer. One approach is you convert your files to the printer format, and then essentially that motherboard handles everything. So it's going to be a simplistic motherboard. It's not going to be capable of super advanced operations, but the idea is that you optimize your code, or people making the code optimize it, and it does the things that you need it to do. But what Clipper does is it lets you hook up an external computer, like a Raspberry Pi, which has a way more robust CPU. And it's using this super duper powerful computer, like the Raspberry Pi, or even a desktop computer, I'd imagine. And essentially, it's taking control of the printer. Instead of the motherboard controlling the printer, a externally connected device is controlling the printer, something that has way more computational capability. So essentially, the two schools of thought is optimize the firmware to work on the crappy 8-bit motherboard, and there's some merit to that approach. And the Clipper approach is use this powerful external computer that you're hooking up to your printer anyway, and take advantage of its capabilities to, like, get a better and faster print. So I decided to adopt that approach, and first I used the Raspberry Pi to do it, but I was like, this is a pain in the ass to set up. So then I found out there was like a device called a Sonic Pad. And a Sonic Pad is basically like, it looks like a tablet, but you hook it up to your 3D printer, and it does the things. It controls the printer directly. And it's cool because it's a tablet, so you can actually look at the tablet screen while it's printing. It has all kinds of weird features. So one of the features that you have in Clipper is, let's say you're printing multiple things at the same time. So you're printing out, let's say, the back of the Starship Enterprise and the front of the Starship Enterprise. And in the middle of printing, let's say one of the warp nacelles gets messed up. At that point, you're going to want to cancel just one part of your print. And let's just say maybe you're printing your warp nacelle separately. So now, instead of canceling the entire print and starting over, and instead of wasting time and filament printing a busted part alongside the good parts of the Starship Enterprise, instead, you're going to tell it, hey, just cancel that one warp nacelle, cancel that one warp engine, or whatever you want to call it, and print the rest of it. And it'll let you cancel parts on the fly. And then you can later on, when it's done, you can come back to it and say, okay, let's reprint the one part that it got messed up, So these are some of the things that Clipper firmware can do. All right. Just putting another... I know you're not really supposed to lay on thick coats like this, but trying to get this done for tomorrow morning, and I figure that it'll dry enough that I can just have it ready in the morning. And if it's not ready, maybe I'll postpone it, but I'm really trying my darndest to have it ready. I shouldn't have done the black marker on the top, but I was hoping that I could, do something magical here. Oh yeah, so I learned about America Sings today, the other day. So my friend Slim was doing a stream and he told me about America Sings. And so there was this attraction at Disney World back in the 70s, and it was like basically about the progress of America, you know, progress of civilization, like, you know, the refrigerator and trains and all that bullshit, or all that stuff that makes us civilized. And it had a rotating stage, or more accurately, the stage didn't rotate. The audience rotated around the stage, and as the audience rotated around the stage, there was like 4 walls, and the idea would be that as the stage is rotating, it would show you like a different stage. So you'd see like stage 1, then it would rotate and you'd see stage 2, and so you'd just see the act. So what happened was this young lady, she wasn't where she was supposed to be, and of course they didn't have any sensors or any safety investment in safety. So the poor girl is like, during the show, somebody had a camcorder, and you hear this scream. You hear like a really crazy scream, and I think maybe it was the 80s, but anyway, you hear this crazy scream, and then like a few hours later, they find the poor girl's dismembered body underneath the stage and between the stage, and essentially she got caught between the wall and the motorized, you know, seating area, which essentially, imagine like the auditorium rotates around the stage. It's not huge, but it's big enough that there's some powerful equipment moving this shit around. So if you get caught in there, you're fucked. And I think she, like the rumor, I heard, no, I shouldn't really go by hearsay. I was reading the comments on one of the videos. Someone said, oh, I worked at Disney. I spoke to the old timers. They said it was, the guy who spoke to the old timers said she just got engaged and she's showing her wedding ring to people. And that maybe that's what happened. She went in between the stages during the show and was in the wrong place when it started rotating. I'm not 100% on that, but that seems to be like what may have happened. But don't trust anyone, you know, there's always multiple versions of a story, you know, or don't trust anyone without, you know, I don't know, verifying, I guess, or trust but verify. I guess it depends on how much you like the person. Yes, absolutely, some person. That is absolutely right. And that does give me confidence. Now, you're right, though. Some person said, it's acrylic. It should dry fast. Absolutely. That's sort of why I'm kind of YOLOing it the way I am. It's like I'm kind of confident it will dry fast. I'm trying to avoid these splotchy areas, but what's good is sometimes when the paint dries, the splotchy areas kind of, you know, like settle down on their own. But almost not. Like this side is a thin coat. It actually looks a bit better in person, but I'm just going to lob on. Hope I don't have anything on this drawing tablet screen that I don't want to show people. No, I'm seeing. Make sure I don't have any accidental prawns on it. Okay, good, I don't. I just have a vinyl player. There we go. Oops, I got paint on my stream deck. Okay, we cleaned it. So anyway, yo, drawing tablets are dope. You can use them as like an extra monitor. But yeah, so I had to get this done tonight, and I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. It might be cheating, but, you know, I wanted to get this done. Now, question, how many people are really waiting for me to play BeamNG Drive? Was anybody actually waiting for me to play BeamNG Drive tonight? Because if they were, maybe I'll do it real quick. But I should get my butt to bed. But, you know, if anyone was waiting for me, I did say I was thinking about playing it. So if anybody was looking forward to that, I'll make a quick game out of it. And I do want to say hi to Lemon Pie. So yeah, as I was saying, Lemon Pie, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I made this into an arts and crafts stream because I made a commitment to finish this soon. So I was like, okay, I gotta finish this shit. So I'll just use tonight's show as an opportunity to sit down, paint, and talk. And I probably should have done the join link, but Real Weird Gaming Nation was willing to join the stream, and I'm piping this straight out of OBS, so I have no way to send an invite link unless I set up a Discord or something. Actually, I had a theoretical way. I thought about opening up a second copy of Restream in a browser and then doing screen sharing, but honestly, I gotta test that out before I can like be confident that'll work. So I don't want to mess up around. Yeah, so that black paint is getting a little runny on the top. I might just lay it on sticks just to kind of hide the black paint on top. Yeah, Tommy, I think you were right. Overall, I think you were right. Plus, this saves me a lot of work that I wouldn't be able to do in a timely manner. All right, let's just call it a day and let the paint globs dry. So I could probably give this a little bit more love on the backing here, but we'll YOLO it and see. Maybe I'll give it a little alcohol cleansing tomorrow. I do still have some wet paint here. Just, I don't know what to do with it, you know, without ruining it. Maybe we could put some of the paint over here. All right, and you know what? That'll be good because then my computer could generate a little bit of heat that'll help this dry a little quicker. I'm just putting the last paint on now. Now, you should take your time with art normally, but as you know, I got to be up at 5 a.m., so I'm trying to be expedient here. Right. Now let me just get some toilet paper or something. I want to put this on top of my tower. Well, that's weird. If you put toilet paper on top of your computer, it flies away. Now, is there anywhere else we could do a quick touch-up? Well, I'd say I could do a little touch-up here. Hey, Google, set an alarm for 5 o'clock and 5:05 a.m. Hey, Google, set an alarm for 5:10 and 5:15 a.m. Hey, Google, set an alarm for 5:10 and 5:15 a.m. Hey, Google, set an alarm for 5:02 and 5:07 a.m. Hey, Google, set an alarm for 5:12 and 5:17 a.m. Right, I think that should be fine. Hey, I'm painting here too. Well, man, if I had a join link, I'd invite you on. I mean, you know, I don't think you stream anyway, but if you did, and if I had the ability to invite people on, you would be on with Real Wade Gaming Nation right now. Ah, crud. Okay, that's alright. Let's put this on top of my computer. Alright, that'll have to do. So now I got my paint palette and we just put it right over here. And if that thing falls down on me. But no, I think we should be fine. Alright, let me just put the cap on this isopropyl alcohol. And we're going to close a bunch of crap that I had opened. We're going to put the masking tape on my face. Oh, how cool is that? I love doing that. In fact, we should put some green tape up here so the camera mount is transparent. I only ever needed one alarm. The wife needs several to wake up over and over. Yeah. I can relate to your wife. I can relate to your wife, Tommy. Oh my god. Look, see, I even have this post on Reddit about my 3D printer. Can't print on Creality Sonic Pad. Do I need something different? Blah, blah, blah. Alright, Let me just open up the game. We're going to open up Steam. We have Steam on my bottom monitor. This is cool. So one of the reasons I like having a drawing tablet is I put Steam on my bottom monitor like this. And then we're going to plug in my gamepad, which is right here. And we're going to then... Hey, wait a second. Where's that sound coming from? What made a sound just now? What app just made noise? Okay, well, it's not coming out of another app right now. So we're going to put on the game audio. And we're going to click play beam NG. Oh, wait. Real quick. Is the PlayStation controller app opened? It is. Okay, good. This app is important. This app is cool. So what this app does is it lets you control the triggers. So these triggers have resistance. So mine is set where you go 50% down and then you feel the resistance. You could have more resistance. So you'll see this little slider here. It says start and force. And so the left trigger is saying that I could have it start resisting in the beginning. But what it says here is that when I press down 40%, that's when I start feeling resistance. And for some reason, you can't see my mouse pointer right now. So that's an interesting little bug. You literally can't see my mouse pointer on my bottom screen. Huh. That's bizarre. Well, I hope that's not a real issue. Right, you're going to love this. I still got to put a clear coat down, but we're probably going to do that after the stream. Because I don't think there's going to be time. I don't even know if I'm going to put a clear coat down, to be honest. I'm kind of afraid to. I might put the clear coat on the back. Just because I feel safer doing it there. Alright, so it's going to be one of the last things we do in this stream, but you guys are in for a real treat. So I put the volume level a little bit lower, but I could bring it up if you want. So just, you know, let me know. We're not playing this in super full screen mode. Oh, shoot, I forgot about super ramp. So what do you guys want? You guys want me to drive off an unrealistic ramp, or you want me to drive off a mountain? I'm going to start off the mountain, but we could change it up as needed. So we're going to go to American Road, Mountainous Road, and we're going to have to zoom out because remember, I have an ultra wide screen monitor. So bear with me while I make some adjustments here. Okay. There we go. Yo, what up, Chaos? I gotta drop in on your stream. I seen you streaming today, but then can you believe the audacity of my job? I had to do real work at work today. Can you believe that bullshit? No, I didn't have to do that much work, but still. So we're gonna start with a vehicle that has a nice roll cage. We're gonna go with the, I guess the top of mountain edition. And in order to save time driving up the bloody mountain, because driving up the mountain can take a while because, you know, the terrain. Oh, also we need to do something else. We need to adjust the game because we don't want to waste CPU power. So we're going to set the game to run at 60 frames per second instead of 120, because I was doing some experimental recordings. So basically there's like a winding road to go up this mountain. You can't really go straight up the mountain. If you go straight up the mountain, like, it's like you'll just end up like being pulled down unless you have a car that can actually handle that. Some cars can handle that, you know? Like, I don't think this is a way that you would drive up, but you know what, I'm surprised there's no motorcycles in this game. So like maybe I was doing it wrong, but I couldn't find a motorcycle. So we're going to start with the lower mountain, then we'll do the higher mountain. Because believe it or not, even the low mountain is damned cool. I mean, you might think it's boring, but even the low mountain is a good time. It is. Showing up is supposed to be half the battle with a job. You're right. I mean, I understand some people have a greater work ethic, and I do respect that. Oh, crap. That was a weird glitch. That's... Oh, I'm paused. That's why. Let me know if you want the audio louder or lower, guys. Okay, let's try that again. See, I told you in for a real treat. Next time I'm going to try to drive down safely. Crap. We're gonna try another car soon. I just used the gamepad. Yeah, Chaos, I just used the gamepad. I don't have a PS5, but I bought the gamepad because I thought it was a good gamepad. This isn't. I don't even think this car is all-wheel drive. And if you thought this was cool, just wait till we get to the next mountain. All right, let's switch vehicles. Should we do another truck? Well, we could do another truck next, but we're gonna do this car because this is a sporty ass car. Oh, see, that car is a lot like tinfoil. I hope this doesn't disturb anyone. I love how there's that roadway when you're going, you know, down. I love that there's a roadway. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get the big truck and we're gonna do this again. We're gonna take the Scarab, but now this vehicle is gonna be a little bit on the loud side, I'll admit. We're gonna go with the Adventure Edition, I guess, right? And we're gonna go and we're gonna fly somewhere else where we can really experience like tumbling. Highlander. Oh, okay. Already tumbling down, I guess. All right, that's not the way I wanted to go, but all right. I guess we're going this way. That was not my intent. But yeah, I'm like pretty hooked on this game. Hit the road, hit the road. Ah. Can we go down the road gracefully? Can we go gracefully? Can we oh, we're doing good. We're good. Oh, okay, let's go forward. We gotta take control. Take it by the horns, they say, right? Oh. Tommy Mystic. I love Lady Mystic. Almost as cool as Lady Mist. So let's see if we can find the spot, the clutch spot, because I don't think this is it. The other day I was driving down the mountain and it was like pretty interesting. I was like negotiating the obstacle down, and then out of nowhere I lost total control. I was like, oops. Oh my god. Oh god, those rocks are aggressively bad. Okay, that was not expected. Oh my god, this is the worst spot ever. Let's see if we can find the mountainous pass that I was looking at yesterday. Because I was in an area yesterday where it was like, and maybe it was a different map. It might have been a different map, actually, now that I think about it. Like, okay, there's a tunnel over here. Okay, this actually looks familiar. I think it is the area. So we're gonna spawn a different vehicle, I think, too. We're gonna use something that can handle. And then I'm really gonna wrap up. So I want something with all-wheel drive. I do want to go with a car I'm more familiar with, but okay. Who likes Star Wars? You guys like Star Wars? You guys recognize this vehicle? Alright, we're gonna do one more jump off the mountain, and we're gonna switch maps. So we're gonna go up the tallest mountain, so you guys get rewarded for your, hanging around patiently. It's actually built like a tank. I'd say the area right in front of us, right up there, is the best way to come down the mountain. Like, that's my experience yesterday. This isn't a bad spot either, but that area is like the best. And then when you go down this lake, there's actually like there's like busted up cars at the bottom of this lake. So lastly, I'm going to show you guys the ultimate ramps real quick. And this is it after this. DJ goes to bed. So this is the mega ramp. And they come in different shapes and sizes and formats. But we're going to pick this one here. And it's literally like an artificially, artificial ramp. Oh boy, you know what? I probably should go to bed. All right, let's let this load. Good. Okay, we're gonna go to bed right after we do this. How about that? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So, we're gonna explore the mega ramp more later in the week. We're gonna maybe do 2 vehicles. So, the only thing is that when you're going down a ramp this steep, there's a lot of ramps here. See that target there? I've actually hit the center of that bullseye using the Star Wars vehicle. But I think I had to do it from the ramp over there. I don't think I was able to do it from this ramp. But we can try. So, let me think here, actually. Let's take a look at the map real quick. And I do think that we should try from this one here. So we're going to quick travel to this ramp. And we're going to do one with this car, and we're going to do the Star Wars car, and that's it, alright? So when you're going down these ramps, you got to be careful. See, you're going to use your anti-lock brakes quite a bit. Oh, this is not the right part of the map. That was not the right part of the map. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to see an error message come up in the top corner of the screen. Already, bottom left corner, it's saying the engine is being over-revved. So, in other words, the engine and the drivetrain are going to take heavy damage. But, look, we can actually hit that target. We might even hit that bullseye. We might overshoot it. So, that's how good that is. Like, we actually overshot the mark. Oh boy. That's rough. See, you could easily wreck the tires. I was pretty good at this the other day. I got pretty far. Fudge. All right, we're done here. I don't have time to keep trying, unfortunately, guys. But hope you know I was able to. Oof, those stormtroopers are dead. Maybe the pilot's not. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching tonight. Hope I was able to, you know, entertain. I mean, I'm surprised so many of you all came out. I mean, it's not an enormous amount, but I'm delighted with the amount of people who tuned in tonight. So, really glad you guys showed up. And what are you painting? Let's see. Lemon Pie said showing up. So once you show up, it's really just about giving 50%. Hey, did you get footage of me driving to the store? Hey, how did you get footage of me driving to the store? It says Lemon Pie. That's funny, Lemon Pie. So anyway, I'm going to, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. If you have anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Since I'm not streaming through, wait, am I streaming through Restream? I'm not. So I can't play the video clip that I used as an outro, can I? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I guess not. Okay, we're not going to play the outro tonight because I don't, oh wait, do I have it? I think we should play the outro because it's the right thing to do, you know? Which is going to be under, going back / videos, DaVinci, sorry, might be a little loud. I'll lower the volume a little bit. So I'm going to play the outro. We're going to wrap this up. So once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And we'll end transmission right after this. Right after this outro. And, you know, like everyone in the chat, including Chaos for You, 728, Lady Mist, Snowdub, Music and Entertainment, Lemon Pie, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. I believe Snowdub is doing a show tomorrow night. I'm not really sure. Did I ever program you into my freaking thing? Well, either way, you all have the option to put a link if you want. You know, Lemon Pie, Some Person, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, also a great channel. Pop Culture Mechanic, also a great channel. He'll be doing Trades Talk tomorrow night. Did I say Lady Mist? Well, Lady Mist, Real Weird Gaming Nation. We even had a Dega Outlaw here tonight. Disney Sheepherder, and a few other great names, including Anime Night 1992. And, you know, I don't want to put anyone in the spot who's not a regular, but I'm grateful for everybody who tuned in tonight. Oh, man, I got some paint on my drawing tablet, but it's got a screen protector on it, so it's okay. But for a minute there, I was like, a little worried. I was like, just scratching the... Yeah, we're good, we're good. All right. Might have to clean it, but we're looking good here. So anyway, let's get right to it. We're going to play the outro and wrap it up.
隊長